We wake up long before sunrise, surrounded by dense forest, somewhere near Nakina, deep in northern Ontario. Outside the window, the world is still entirely dark. Not simply night, but the kind of darkness that feels absolute, undisturbed by towns, roads, or any source of artificial lighting. The train presses steadily westwards, its gentle motion the only indication that we are covering distances at all. There is something deeply reassuring about waking up on a moving train. You fall asleep in one place, and by morning, you're already far beyond it, carried onwards while the world rests. It's almost like time and portal travel. It's still too early for breakfast service to begin. As such, we decide to head backwards to the park car. In the park bar, a light breakfast has already been set out for early risers. Croissants, muffins, fruits, water, juices. Tea and coffee can be prepared at leisure. It is informal and unhurried. It's not a replacement for breakfast by any means, but a really thoughtful offering for those who rise early to greet the day. At 6:30 sharp, breakfast service begins. We make our way back to the dining car. Breakfast on the Canadian is served with the same care as every other meal on board. There are several options today, but this morning we chose to have the chef's omelette and the continental breakfast. It's excellent, warm, satisfying, and precisely what is needed to begin a long winter's day on the rails. By the time we return to the park car, the darkness has finally begun to lift. The surroundings are now visible, though softened by a haze of snow thrown up by the train as it moves at speed, working very hard to recover the lost time. As the sun rises, northern Ontario gradually begins to reveal itself. Forests stretch endlessly in every direction. Frozen lakes lie flat and silent beneath a blanket of snow. The rock cuts of the Canadian Shield emerge from the landscape, ancient, weathered, and uncompromising. This is land shaped by time on a scale that is very difficult to comprehend. For long stretches, there are no signs of roads, no buildings, no visible human presence at all. Only forests, rocks, and water repeated just enough to be calming, never enough to be monotonous. Throughout this trip, we are constantly on the lookout for wildlife, hoping to get a glimpse of anything at all in the snow. At around 8:40 in the morning, we finally arrive in the town of Armstrong. Now, Armstrong is not a town in the conventional sense. It's a remote railway settlement, accessible primarily by rail or air, and it serves as a lifeline for the surrounding communities. This is also where the train undergoes a time change, a subtle reminder that we are crossing not only geography, but time itself. The scenery returns to its quiet rhythm. Snow-covered valleys, low hills, frozen lakes, exposed rocks, and dense boreal forests. Northern Ontario unfolds slowly, yet deliberately, as though unconcerned by our passage. As we continue westwards, we pass through Pascoby and soon encounter a CN freight train waiting for us. This is indeed a very rare treat. From our elevated vantage point, we can see the CN engineer step up to his cab. It's a fleeting human moment amidst overwhelming industrial scale. From the dome car, the scale is truly astonishing. The freight train stretches seemingly without end, approximately 150 intermodal cars, which are hauled by 3 large locomotives. 2 of them are leading and 1 of them is positioned mid-train. Freight trains like this dominate Canada's rail network, and seeing one this close, from the front, is a very powerful reminder of how vital rail remains to this country's economy. Soon, our train begins to slow down again and comes to a complete halt. Looking out, we see a small settlement clustered beside a frozen lake. Ahead, passengers are disembarking, unloading their baggage and supplies from the luggage car. This is where the role of the Canadian becomes unmistakably clear. For many of these communities, the train is not just novelty or luxury, it is essential infrastructure. It helps bring food, fuel, medicine, building materials, and mail. It carries people to medical appointments, family gatherings, and educational opportunities. In vast regions of Northern Ontario, and as a matter of fact, the rest of Canada, this train remains a critical artery to daily life. At around 11:30, first call for lunch is announced. Lunch on day 2 follows a familiar pattern: relaxed, well-timed, and unhurried. The soup of the day was a tomato bisque soup with crackers. As we dine, the train glides past a frozen lake. Large sections of the lake are sealed beneath thick ice, yet here and there, dark sections remain open. From these gaps, faint steam rises into the cold air, water vapor escaping where the lake has not fully surrendered to winter. For the main course, we both went with the ginger beef on rice, with a side of coleslaw. For dessert, we both decided to try out the caramel carrot cake. As we are running behind schedule, we finish lunch just in time to prepare for one of our most significant stops of the journey. Sioux Lookout is often described as the hub of the North, and with good reason. It serves as a vital connection point for dozens of remote communities across northwestern Ontario. Sioux Lookout also marks the halfway point between Thunder Bay and Winnipeg. The stop here is scheduled for around 20 minutes. This allows enough time for refueling of the engines and some other crew operations. A large number of passengers disembark here for a smoke break or just to stretch their legs. We, however, had one goal in mind, and that was to get a proper look at the front of the train. We head down, or in this case, head up the platform and besides the station. Snow is piled head high and the ground is very slippery in some sections. Making our way carefully along the fence line, we are rewarded with a clear view of the locomotives. Today, the Canadian is hauled by 3 engines. We were later informed that one of them is being deadheaded. We attempt to look inside the station building itself, but access is restricted. From what we could see, it's functional rather than ornate, though the exterior is very handsome, and very proud of its place in the railway network. Moving towards the rear of the train, we realize that we are yet in another active CN freight rail yard. Freight cars stand idle on adjacent tracks. Everything here feels purposeful, efficient, and quietly resilient. Standing beside the train, surrounded by snow and steel, it is honestly remarkable to consider that this service operates year-round, through temperatures and conditions that would halt most forms of transportation. Back on board, we shed our winter layers and return once more to the parked car. Settling into the Bullet Lounge this time, we watch the scenery recede through the panoramic windows, a moving tableau of frozen wilderness. About an hour later, we arrive in Hudson. The temperature here sits around -11 degrees Celsius. We are stopped to allow via rail number 2, our sister train traveling from Vancouver to Toronto, to pass.
Left-hand side will be number 2, coming by. On the left-hand side, number 2, heading to Toronto. Okay, middle through. What? You gotta wait for people, but that's all pretty fast.
Seeing the opposing Canadian in daylight is honestly a rare treat, and we consider ourselves very fortunate to witness it. As evening approaches, we head to the dining car at 5:30 for dinner. The soup of the day was a delicious chicken and wild rice soup. For the main course, we went with a bone-in pork chop, served with a side of vegetables and mash, along with a stuffed cheddar chicken, also accompanied with some vegetables and mash. For dessert, we shared a decadent dulce de leche cheesecake. Many hours later, our significantly delayed train finally approaches Winnipeg. We were scheduled to arrive at 8 p.m. However, it's currently 10:30 at night. this is where we must say goodbye to our onboard crew. It's honestly a bittersweet moment. In just 2 days, they have become familiar faces, and yet the railway must keep moving on. The incoming crew has already worked long hours preparing for the next leg of our journey. This is also where we lose one of our engines. It will detach here in Winnipeg and continue northwards towards Churchill. The Winnipeg stop was originally planned for around 3 hours, but to make up time, it's reduced to around 50 minutes. We were informed here that if we left the train now, reboarding would not be permitted until later, as the platform would be closed due to snow clearing operations. Even so, we were not going to miss the opportunity to step out and explore Winnipeg. Winnipeg Union Station is grand, dignified, and beautifully proportioned. A reminder of the era when railways were the primary gateways to cities. Winnipeg, after all, is the gateway to the West. This is much more grander. The station is decorated for Christmas. Its interior is very warm and welcoming against the cold outside. And off to Broadway.
So it's more beautiful across the street. You have to cross.
Crossing the road outside the station, we pause to take in the full facade. I continue to walk down the road to have a look at the Fort Garry Hotel. It's another great railway hotel, standing as a symbol of confidence and permanence in the heart of the Prairies. We head back to the station to make our way to the Forks. It's a historic site located at the confluence of the Red River and the Assiniboine River. However, time may not be on our side. Instead, we get a glimpse of the rear of the station and view another historic site, the Alloway Arch. As we cross the street, we are greeted by the Canadian Museum of Human Rights and see the statue of Gandhi along the footpath. Looking further, we catch a final view of Winnipeg skyline, illuminated against the night sky. This will be the only major city we properly experience until Vancouver.
There's a Winnipeg sign.
Edmonton, although significant, lies far away from its station. Due to time constraints, we could not make our way all the way to the Forks Market. So I thought, as a consolation, we could at least make our way to the Winnipeg sign. It's located near the CN stage and field in Winnipeg 150 Winter Park. I think it's a quiet but fitting way to end the day. Thank you for joining us on day 2 of our journey on board the Canadian. Tomorrow, we continue west across Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and enter Alberta by nightfall. Bye!